All right, so wood dust is considered a group 1 carcinogen. It's known to cause cancer in humans. So OSHA recommends an 8-hour exposure limit of 5 milligrams per cubic meter of air for both hardwood and softwood. And that's 5 milligrams of sawdust per cubic meter. But there's an exception, and that's for red cedar wood dust, because red cedar wood dust is extra spicy. And OSHA recommends a 2.5 milligrams per cubic meter of air due to its high potential of allergic reaction. The types of respiratory cancer that's been linked to sawdust are nasal cancer, lung cancer, nasopharyngeal cancer, but definitely not limited to those. Now, I'm not trying to do some kind of like late night news scare tactic. In studies thus far, exposures to wood dust at a hobby level has not been linked to cause cancer. Research suggests that exposure needs to be cumulative and substantial to raise your risk of cancer. But that does not mean there's not significant risk for other medical conditions to arise. And all of this, along with stuff like this, have absolutely nothing to do with health and safety. The typical dust collection system that you have, whether it be a shop vac or one of the low pressure, high volume stand-up systems, are for mess cleanups. They're only for keeping large amounts of sawdust under control so you're not swimming through sawdust every single day. And the reason for that has to do with dust size. Okay, so please bear with me. I'm going to throw some numbers at you. So the average fine wood dust is usually between 10 to 30 microns. Humans can only see particles 40 microns and larger. So this stuff, what we see, what our dust collection systems pick up, is huge. People in the air purification world wouldn't even consider this dust. They consider it something like this size, chunks. This would be wood chunks. It's not even dust to them. Now, VOCs can be 2.5 microns or smaller, and VOCs are volatile organic compound. That's the stuff that off-gases from a lot of man-made products, such as wood stains, wood glues, paints, aerosols. It's really bad in composite wood like MDF, but not all VOCs are toxic, but majority of them are. Now, 2.5 micron all the way down to the ultra fine 0.1 microns or less, that makes up 90% of the particles that we breathe, and that's considered the most harmful. Because particles that small get all the way down into your lungs, and that gets into your bloodstream, it gets into everything, and that's where the really nasty stuff starts happening. That's where diseases start, that's where cancers start, that's where all the bad stuff happens. Now again, I'm not trying to be some fear monger or anything, because us as woodworkers or hobbyists or crafters or just makers in general, we really don't do a lot that creates 2.5 and down micron sized particles that's really going to be harmful for us. What we need to be concerned with is 2.5 up to 10. Because most things from 10 microns and above, our bodies will naturally defend against. Some of those defenses are just sneezing and coughing. That's just your body naturally getting rid of the larger particles. And this really big stuff that your dust collection system sets up, the reason I'm saying that this isn't part of the health and safety is because most of this is never going to get all the way down in your lungs, nowhere close. What's mostly going to happen to this is, surprisingly, you're going to eat a lot of it. A lot of this stuff is going to get into your mouth, into your nose, it's going to go down in your throat, and you're just going to swallow it. Now, the 2.5 to 10 micron range I was talking about, that's where we need to be concerned with, because we create a lot of dust that is within that range. And our dust collection systems don't pick that up. And our body has really hard time trying to fight against stuff that small. And that's the stuff that will get down into your upper respiratory system and cause tissue damage or asthma or other kind of medical complications. Now, a lot of people right now are probably saying, well, I wear a mask when I'm in my shop, or I wear a mask when I'm standing, or I wear a mask when I'm using some kind of aerosol. And that's fantastic. That's perfect. But the problem is when you get to real fine particles, that stuff lingers in the air for hours and hours on end. Now, I know myself and a lot of people out there are probably guilty of doing something like this. Perfecto. Yeah, I was wearing a mask while I was doing it, but the second I was done, I take it off, and I'm usually doing something else around my shop. All of those chemicals and the particles and VOCs are still just floating around in the air, and I'm walking around here just breathing it in. But to me, I thought I was being safe because I was wearing a mask while I was doing it. So this problem doesn't just affect you in your shop. If you have a shop like mine that's in the basement, or if you have something that's attached to a garage, all of those very fine particles and VOCs are making their way into your house, your HVAC system, going in and out the door. The second you open a door, you get that big whoosh of air sucking through there. It's pulling all those particles straight into your house, and it's affecting anybody that's living in that area. So what we have to do to fix that problem is scrub the air. And luckily, doing that is actually very, very easy. Now, there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could do it really easy and just buy a system, and they range anywhere from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000, depending on the size of the system you want. Or the second option, you could just build one with relative ease. And that's what we're gonna do. Because why buy something when you can spend twice as much and build it yourself? So the first and the cheapest and the easiest option of building an air scrubber yourself is this. This is what most people have. You have a fan, take a filter, tape it to the back of the fan, turn it on, sucks it through, blows out clean air. It works. Most of us have something like this, or maybe multiple of these. It works, it will get you by. It's definitely not the best option, and I think we all know that. Mostly because if you have a decent sized shop or you're doing a lot of work in there and you only have one of these, this is what my filter looks like after about 2 hours of working down here. Or you can go with the second option of building your own air scrubber, which is the Corsi Rosenthal box. That's the one where you have a fan on top or on the bottom, and it blows air up through a box made of filters. That one works about 1,000,000 times better, and that's what we're gonna be making. But we're gonna be making it a little bit different. We're gonna make it in this kind of style, where it's much more shallow and it's hanging from the ceiling. Because I cannot have one more thing on my floor where I have to push it around or trip over it. There's just too much crap on my floor now, so that's why we're gonna hang it from the ceiling. Okay, so for this build, this is pretty much all we're gonna need. A cheap fan I got from Home Depot was about 25 bucks, a set of filters, and one 10-foot common board should do it. This is about 15 bucks, unless I screw it up, and that is why I got a second one. Might as well just save myself a trip. Okay, before we go any further, I want to talk about these filters because they are the backbone of this entire build. And these are some of the best finds that I've stumbled across in a very long time, and I really want to tell you about them. So these are rated MERV 13 filters, which are going to take out well over the majority of all the harmful particles in the air. They're going to be more than good enough for what we're going to be using them for. And I found these on Amazon. They're $45 for a pack of 9 filters. Now the really unique thing about these filters is this is the filter. So this is how it comes when you order it. And it's really kind of unique because what it is you get this plastic case that comes apart in 2 pieces, and this is the filter. So when you need to change the filter, you just open this up, pull out a new filter, put it in here in the little tabs, put the case back together, boom, brand new MERV 13 filter. So why I think these are so amazing is you get 9 filters for $45. If I were to buy 9 MERV 13 regular filters, it would cost $140. Now I bought 4 packs of these because I want 4 of these frames. That was pretty hefty. It did cost 180 bucks, but I did get 36 filters. Now, if I were to buy 36 regular MERV 13 filters, it would have cost me 560 bucks. It still saved me $380. Now, if you don't want to spend $180 right off the bat doing this, I get it. There's cheaper ways to do it. One, you can get these filters in a lower MERV, which are a little bit cheaper, so you're gonna save a little bit more money, but you can also do it another way. Now, there's nothing stopping you from buying just 1 pack of these and just recreate this little cage. You could probably build this pretty easy out of wood. And the reason why I say you would probably have to build one yourself is because I cannot find anywhere just to buy one of these little cages. They don't sell them, they sell them in the whole packs. So if you want 4 of these, you're gonna have to buy 4 individual packs. Or, now I'm not saying do this, I'm just saying it's possible. There's a lot of people on Fiverr that have 3D printers, and if you just send them dimensions and maybe some good pictures, they can actually 3D print these for probably pretty cheap. So you could save yourself even more money that way. But I wanted to save myself some hassle and some time, so that's why I ended up just buying 4 of these, because that's gonna be enough to build a box all the way around it. Plus I get 36 filters and it still saves me $380, which is pretty good to me. Okay, so here's the entire idea of the build. The fan's gonna be on the bottom, it's gonna be pushing air down, so it's gonna suck air in through the filters and push down and out, so nice clean air is gonna come out. You don't want to flip it, because what's going to happen is if you have air coming up, going into the little box of filters, you're going to create too much pressure, which is going to push particles right out the filter and it's going to ruin your filters and kind of defeat the whole purpose of the filters. So you want it sucking air in through the filters and pushing it right down and out. So what we're going to do is build a frame all the way around this that's going to have rails on it. So that way, when it comes time to change the filter, you can just go ahead, slide it right in and slide it right out. The whole idea of this is to make it very functional, cheap, and very easy to build. Because I want anybody in any situation to be able to build something like this, because it's for your health. It's gonna be really beneficial. And I don't wanna make it some kind of like Izzy Swan build where it's really functional and really cool, but could the average person make it? Hell no. First thing I wanna get started with is go ahead and take this handle off, because I want this to be as square as possible. Why don't you wanna come out? Also, while we have this off, one thing we're gonna have to deal with is the power cord. So the air is gonna be coming in, pushed down this way. So the frame's gonna have to be coming across here, but the power cord will be in the way. So what we wanna do is move this. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead, run it over here and down here, which is gonna be completely clear away from the blades, but it's gonna be able to poke out the bottom. So now, since the cable used to go out this way, now I'm just gonna run it down through here and come out through this way. I'm just gonna tape it down, but also this created some super sharp corners. So what you wanna do is go ahead, either file this down or cover it up somehow with some tape or something, but you want to get rid of these really sharp corners. Okay, so there we go. Now the power cord's coming out the bottom, handle's gone, so all we gotta do is build a quick little frame. So far, all I've done was cut some pieces to go on the bottom of the frame. Then we're gonna take a little bit bigger piece of wood like this, and we're gonna put it right here. And we're gonna wanna overlap this and this, because it's gonna sit like this. So this is where the frame of the filter is gonna slide in and out, right there. So it's gonna be like that, whoops. That's gonna be like that. Filter can come in and out, and then this is gonna attach to this. This is also gonna attach to this. This is how it's gonna stay on the fan. It's a pretty crap explanation. You'll see here in a minute. One thing you're also going to want to do is cut notches in the corners of each one of these, because remember, these are going to be sliding in and out, so you need a little notch. See, now this filter is going to slide right in there. Okay, so hopefully you can start to see it come together a little bit better. So fan's going to go down in here. These are going to sit on here. And the notches, you can just slide these in and out either direction to change them. Okay, so we are going to have to modify one side of this because of the knob. So since the lip is here, it's going to sit right on here. So what we're going to have to do is basically just cut a little groove right here so it slips down right around the knob. Perfect. God, one thing I do want to apologize for is how dirty my workbench is. I see so many of these YouTube makers or woodworkers, their workbench is spotless. Like it's never been used. There's not a scratch, not a drip of paint, nothing. I don't know how they do it. Oh, perfect. So now what we're going to do is put some rails on the inside so it holds it. Now, filter sits in there nice and snug. Yes, yes sir. Okay, so we got the frame built, we got all the guides in here, we got the notches cut so the filters can slide straight in any direction. Now we got to connect this to the actual fan. The way I'm going to do that is just with some bolts. So just put maybe 2 all the way around. All right, that's not going anywhere. Okay, so the frame is built, it's attached to the fan. Now we got to figure out the last part, which is how are we going to hang this from the ceiling? This is what I have left over from that initial 10-foot piece of wood. And I'm not going to use any more other than just what I have left. Because like I said, this has to be simple and cheap. I'm also not going to worry about putting a lid on here because the ceiling is actually going to be the lid for this. Okay, so how I'm going to hang this up, since the rafters are 16 inches apart and this is going up to the ceiling is actually still going to be the lid. I'm just going to take pieces of wood just like this, 16 inches apart, just like that, and then take these simple hangers, put them right up there so they can go right across the stud. And that's how I'm going to hang it. Okay, so this is pretty much done. Now all I gotta do is hang this up. And honestly, I think this is gonna be about the hardest part because somehow I have to carry this up there, hold it up against the ceiling by myself, and try to drill this thing into the rafters. So, this is gonna suck. So, this is where I want it. Oh. Okay. Whoa, this is gonna be tricky. Okay. I want it like that. Oh, nope, nope, what the fuck was that? Right here. Go on. Oh, come on. Oh shit, where's the drill? Please be in the right spot. Oh god, it's so heavy. Goddamn, where's the drill? Look, no hands. Damn it! Oh, they can still move and it's nice and snug. Oh yeah, they're perfect. It's snug up against the ceiling. So something I talked about in my last dust collection video, and I thought it was the hands down best thing I did for my entire shop, was getting one of these. It's a remote plug. I have my shop vac hooked up to it. That way I could be anywhere in the shop. I can have it hooked up to anything. And all I gotta do is click the on off button, kicks it on and off. So I'm gonna hook one of these, up to the fan as well. That way, anywhere in the shop, I can turn it on if I feel as if it's getting a little bit too dusty. Hit a button, it's on. Hit a button, it's off. It works so good. See, now if I'm working down here, standing or doing whatever, it's getting a little smoky in here, I could turn it on and off from way over here. All right, that's it. Is it the best looking Corsi Rosenthal box? No, not at all. But I checked all of the boxes. It's highly functional, it's cheap, and it's very easy to build. And that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to make it all of those because this is a health and safety issue. Not only for you, but anyone that could be affected by any of this small dust. I think anybody at any skill level can build something like that. And if you're willing to put some more time and energy into it and a little bit more money into actually the frame of it and everything, you could probably make one that looks a billion times better than that. This took me about 3 hours to build, and that's with filming. So anytime you're filming something like this, just double the amount of time. I'm sure if I were down here or anybody else were just down in their shop, just hammering away at it, it would take you maybe an hour, hour and a half. And now for cost, it's a $25 fan, it's a $14 piece of wood, in which, by the way, I still have this much of that one plank left over. There's about $10 worth of miscellaneous materials as far as the bolts and the brackets. And it's $12 for a little switch. Totally optional, but I highly suggest it because I love it. It changes everything in your shop. No more walking around and switching things on and off. Love it. I'll leave a link for one of those and all the filters and everything else down in my description. But now for the most expensive thing was the filters. That is going to vary from person to person, depending on what kind of MERV level you want. If you want one of the higher MERV levels or even into the HEPA filter style, those are going to get pretty expensive. You can move yourself way down, get some cheaper ones. You can get 4 just basic filters that just have the frame already in it. You don't have to buy the whole plastic frame one and just build something you can slide in and out. That's going to vary. But for me, I bought those 4 MERV 13 ones that all came with a plastic frame because I wanted the plastic frames to actually create the frame of the entire filter. And I have all of these filters left over. I got like 3 years worth of filters. I'm set. So please, I beg everyone out there who has a shop, who does woodworking, crafting, any kind of making thing, if you're creating dust, especially on a small level, which most likely you are, have some kind of filtration device in your shop. It's going to help. It could possibly save your life. And as always, please, if you have any comments, if you have suggestions or anything else, put them down in the comment section because somebody else could read it who might have a question and see your comment and it could really help them out. And I appreciate everyone watching. I hope this helps somebody. I will see you guys next time.